Hello, Fantasy Basketball Nation. Alex here for the Denver Nuggets, the team with the 7th overall pick in the 2015 NBA Draft. Now, I gave them a B+, and here were their selections. They had 2 picks in this draft. For their first pick, 7th overall, they chose Emmanuel Mudiay. And for their next pick, at 57th overall, they chose Nikola Radicevic. I'm sorry, I tried to pronounce that the best I could. So, first of all with Mudiay, I think that was 100% the right pick. They shouldn't have picked anyone else in that position. He was the best available, and I think they needed him because Ty Lawson, they do want to get rid of, and I think they may trade him away. I actually think they will. So they're going to need a point guard, and Mudiay just has so much potential. Such a high ceiling. I mean, in my mind, the only other option would have been, I guess, Justice Winslow, but obviously, those two don't really compare. The problem with Mudiay is that he struggles with his jump shot, but with some improvement and polish, he really can become an all-star caliber player, easily. So now with their second pick, Radicevic. Now, he's good. He's solid. He has some trouble with athleticism, being explosive, scoring, but he's a true point guard. He can make plays. He's not going to come over to the NBA right away. He's going to need some time overseas, but when he comes to the NBA, I think he could find a backup role on the Nuggets and do, I want to say damage, but he'll be a solid asset to that team. Now, also, he did actually play with Kristaps Porzingis this past year, which is just an interesting fact. But Radicevic, I mean, it's a fine pick. He is another point guard, which is a little bit questionable since they still do have Lawson. They picked Mudiay, and they have Jameer Nelson as well. I don't really know if they needed that. But I can understand that pick. However, there were a few other players that I would have recommended picking in that position instead. Now, J.P. Tokoto, the North Carolina small forward, he was actually selected a pick later by the 76ers. I think that would have been a wiser decision. Actually, there are a few others as well. There was also a bunch of undrafted players, actually. Taron Petaway out of Nebraska, Christian Wood, Robert Upshaw, and Cliff Alexander. I know they don't really need big men, but those three are just so talented, and I really think they could have used them. And also Michael Frazier and Aaron Harrison. Yeah, it's odd because many people, when they think of undrafted players, they don't think of Aaron Harrison because his twin, Andrew Harrison, was drafted. But Aaron Harrison really, surprisingly, wasn't. He was so clutch in March Madness, but teams just didn't want him due to inefficiency. They didn't think he could repeat this great playmaking and this clutch ability that he did in March Madness in the NBA. But I think all of those players would have been better options than Radicevic to select. However, I don't dislike the Radicevic pick, which is why I gave them a B+. Overall, a solid draft. Not a great draft because they could have selected some better options in the place of Radicevic. However, love Mudiay. That was a brilliant selection. So overall, B+ is what I believe they deserved. And thank you all so much for watching. This was Fantasy Basketball Advice.